So a few weeks ago, there was this massive interview with Todd Howard and Phil Spencer where they talked about the big games coming to the Xbox Series X. I'm talking about Fallout 5, Starfield, and of course, The Elder Scrolls 6. Massive AAA games that are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform. Did Xbox just fix one of their biggest mistakes they had all of Xbox One generation? Let's get into what was said and what Xbox has planned for the Xbox Series X. Let's do this. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. It is appreciated a lot. Okay, so I went back and looked at this interview with Todd Howard and of course Xbox head Phil Spencer. There was a lot of details in there that I don't think a lot of people paid attention to. One being the amount of massive IPs Xbox has acquired because of their ZeniMax Bethesda purchase. There's always been this valid argument for some time that Xbox just doesn't have the IPs that competitors have. That Halo, Gears, and Forza are great games, but they can't be the only thing Xbox has. And to some extent, I would agree with those arguments because Sony's PlayStation has brought out multiple big IPs and have made them into huge money makers. Uncharted is becoming a movie, Last of Us is starting to become a show, God of War is one of the best games I've ever played, and then you have Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Zero Dawn, just to name a few. All of these games were games that Sony cultivated into massive franchises, something that Xbox truly hasn't done outside of a few we named off. Yet now, with a Bethesda buyout, it looks like they have so many IPs they can leverage to push their platform. And for the longest time, people figured most of those games would be coming to the PlayStation or other platforms. Well, it's looking like that's not the case at all. In fact, it's something that Todd Howard knows is happening. Here's some of the games that I'm talking about: Dishonored, Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, Fallout, Starfield, The Elder Scrolls. Bethesda didn't just mean big games, but big sales and critical love. Skyrim has to date sold some 30 million copies. The ironically PS5 exclusive Deathloop is one of the 2021's highest rated games. These aren't mass mainstream social casual games like Candy Crush, Spencer admits, but we're going to do that work as well. For Todd Howard, game director at Bethesda Game Studios, the man responsible for directing Skyrim, the acquisition hasn't changed all that much, at least so far, he says. You don't know what's going to change once you start digging in, but we went into it pretty clear-eyed. So did they. To me, this is pretty important because it shows that Todd Howard and Bethesda knew once they joined Xbox, it was going to mean exclusive. That all of their games and all of their bigger games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform. I mean, it's been over a year since the Bethesda and Xbox acquisition took place, and people are still needing this fed to them. Yet I think people are overlooking one vital thing, which is that Xbox Game Pass is a huge reason why Bethesda decided to go with Xbox when they were bought out. Something that is brought up by Howard right here. For Howard, Game Pass is the biggest change yet to how his team thinks about designing. It's a creative-driven platform that gives developers the confidence that whatever game they make is going to find an audience of some heft. Before Game Pass, you might want to make this game and then you're going to sit in a lot of forecast sales meetings and say, well, I don't know if we can make that game, he says. Game Pass opens up the creative canvas to many more types of games that may not find an audience in other ways. This is something I feel people are just not paying attention to. Bethesda didn't just join Xbox because of the money they bought them out for. Was it a part of it? Sure, of course it was. But I think the relationship they had with Xbox was the biggest deciding factor, and outside of that, I believe that Game Pass really opens up so many creative avenues for them to work in. They can create games without the fear of it selling bad. To a lot of people's surprise, games like Wolfenstein Youngbloods didn't do all that well, and apparently most developers have this fear of their game just not selling well and having bad sales forecasts and not being able to get the funding they need to make it. Yet with Game Pass, this allows Microsoft and their developers to build new games and maybe, just maybe, get even bigger franchises under their belt, something that Phil Spencer admits they didn't have last generation. Microsoft's acquisition was helped by an unofficial partnership stretching back to 2002. Bethesda develops its games with Xbox as its lead console platform, and by securing such a strong conveyor of new games, Spencer has managed to spread his bets beyond a small but storied cluster of top-tier franchises in the Halo, Gears of War, and Forza. There was a time when we didn't have a lot of first-party franchises, Spencer says, and now we do. It's not just 4 games that we're kind of alternating every year, and if one of them doesn't hit, then we're not like, boy, what are we doing? For that reason, exclusivity has been the elephant in the room ever since the buyout. It's been confirmed that next year's Starfield, arguably the biggest game of 2022, will be Xbox and PC only. Spencer says he sees the same for Elder Scrolls 6. In his eyes, Xbox is the whole experience. Xbox Live, Game Pass, cloud gaming, friends list, save states. It's not about punishing any other platform, like I fundamentally believe all of the platforms can continue to grow, he says, but in order to be on Xbox, I want us to be able to bring the full complete package of what we have. And that would be true when I think about Elder Scrolls 6. That would be true when I think about any of our franchises. This is one of the biggest things Xbox has admitted to gamers publicly, that they were banking on maybe 4 franchises to carry them for an entire Xbox One generation. Did they get lucky with Sea of Thieves or how big Forza Horizon became? Of course they did. But the ultimate thing they needed was to get massive franchises into the Xbox ecosystem. And that's exactly what they did with Starfield and all those other massive Bethesda franchises they've created. And let's be real, Bethesda is one of the best publishers in all of gaming. In fact, having their games on PC and Xbox is the main reason why they're a part of Xbox. Todd Howard has said multiple times that PC is one of the most important aspects of their games, that if they couldn't make games for PC, they wouldn't do it. For years, I've said that Bethesda was one of the best developers because they made great console games, but also great PC games. So it was only natural for them to join Xbox because they understand they don't have to change anything. Instead, they create for their main platform fans, which is PC, and they also get to go on the console with Xbox, which again, they've known since 2002. In fact, every single first-party studio Xbox has is going to be making PC and console games. They've quietly turned into the best PC developer/publisher in the world. Yet speaking of big games and all of these huge games, here's what Todd Howard had to say about the upcoming ones they have in the works. We've been designing, Howard says offhandedly. Starfield's technology base has been providing the next-gen features and tech to the Elder Scrolls 6, which if you do the maths, will arrive some 15 to 17 years after Skyrim, several lifetimes in game dev. Yet the ultimate goal for Howard is still the same. I do this weird exercise that I like, he explains. You go back and you read a review for the first Elder Scrolls, then you read the Elder Scrolls 4's Oblivions, and then you read the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrims. You black out a couple things and they read the same. You've stepped out and oh my gosh, it feels so real. People change, technology changes, but the ultimate goal is still to make it so that when you boot the game up, you feel like you've been transported. To me, I have a feeling that Starfield is going to really change the way people look at Xbox, the way people look at Bethesda, and that relationship that Xbox has with them. We all know that 2021 has been dominated by Xbox, and no matter what anyone says, that's exactly what's happened this year. Yet when I look at 2022, I just can't help but think, wow, this is going to be one insane time to be an Xbox gamer. They have Redfall, Starfield, and multiple other third-party deals signed for next year, not to mention all the first-party games they might drop on us. Either way, this is going to be a huge generation for Xbox, and for the first time, they have completely fixed the mistakes they made in the Xbox One generation, especially when it comes to big IPs for big games. But enough of what I think about this. Tell me what you think about this. Are you surprised by what Todd Howard had to say? Does Xbox have some of the biggest franchises in gaming right now? Will they compete with the franchises Sony has made over the last generation? What other publishers bring out this many PC and console games simultaneously? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been jumping through my PC and my Xbox. I've been going crazy. There's been a sale. I think I'm going to jump into a couple big RPGs. Maybe AC Valhalla and Witcher. I know that sounds kind of weird playing two different games at the same time, but honestly, I'm just waiting for Halo Infinite. I can't wait to play the campaign. I'm going to be playing it with everyone else, and I'm looking forward to just jumping in, going into that open world, taking out some grunts, and just having a good time being Master Chief. But until then, I'm going to be playing a lot of Valhalla and probably The Witcher 3, which I kind of want to save for Christmas vacation because that game is massive and you can easily put 100 to 150 hours into it. But for now, Halo's in my eyesight and I can't wait till next week to play it. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your PC, your Xbox Series X, or are you on your PS5? Let me know down below because that's what we're here for. It's to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.